All right, Miles, we have to talk about the Miami Dolphins. This is a team since Tua has come back. They've won their last two games. They've looked really good, and they looked absolutely amazing with Tua running the show against the Detroit Lions. Massive 31-27 win. And I know you got some stuff you want to particularly talk about, but before I hand it over to you, Dolphins fans, after this huge win, another big win back-to-back with Tua, you guys got to be riding high, feeling pretty good. But we want to hear from you in the comments section below. Give us an MVP of the game today. Give us a guy who you think stood out and really carried the team. Look, there's a lot of guys, especially on offense. There's a couple we're going to talk about, but we want to know what you think. Let us know, comment section below, the MVP of this game. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this huge Dolphins win?
So first of all, it shows Tua had an incredible day, threw for almost 400 yards. The big one for me, 29 of 36 on his passes. He was deadly accurate, really great completion percentage, 3 touchdowns. But his receivers were just as deadly as he was. Tyreek Hill, 12 catches for almost 200 yards, 188 yards on the day. Jalen Waddle, 8 catches for 106 and 2 touchdowns. They beat him to death with the explosive plays. They went up against this Lions defense, who at the time when they played, they're like the worst defense in the NFL. And we brought up in a video last week about how this matchup is going to be huge for the Dolphins. They should be able to feast, and they did exactly what they needed to do, Nick. They came out, they scored 31 points, threw for 3 touchdowns, ran for another. So big day for the Dolphins. They came out and reset the clock. They did exactly what they needed to do, working their way back into being contenders for the AFC.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the head. And look, it's a cliche. You hear it all the time from all the pundits, but it's true. Good teams do what they're supposed to do when they're supposed to do it. When you're the favorite team and you've got a favorable matchup, you need to go out there and execute if you want to be a good team. That's exactly what the Dolphins did here. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua. There's definitely something magical there. And, there was a lot of talk a few years ago, I think 2018 with Pat Mahomes and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, how that was something we've never seen before and we'll never see it again, to someone come on and just have that kind of performance. Well, Miles, I went back and I ran the numbers here, is that if you compare Pat Mahomes' first 5 games in that season with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and compare it with the 5 games that Tua finished this year, I'm not counting the game he didn't play, I'm not counting the game he left early because of the injury. Tua is actually averaging more passing yards per game and has 12 touchdowns. He averaged 313 in the 5 games he completed. Pat Mahomes in that year, where it was an MVP year for Pat Mahomes, was just 3-2. Pat Mahomes threw 14 scores. Tua has thrown 12. So again, at the time in 2018, we were all told, it was buried in our heads, that Pat Mahomes and this Chiefs offense was legendary. Well, now we're seeing Tua with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Either that offense wasn't as good as people said it was, which I think it was a great offense, or I think more likely this offense with Mike McDaniel, with Tua, with Waddle, with Hill, maybe on the cusp of something special. I mean, the efficiency in big plays, just to compare, just having both of those options. I mean, you look at Tua, you mentioned 29 of 36, insane completion percentage. They had the big plays. He averaged over 10 yards per passing attempt, which is huge. I mean, this is record-setting kind of stuff we're seeing from the Dolphins. And I think it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, and I think another big thing, Nick, we look at the schedule, the rosters, slate of upcoming games for the Dolphins. Next week, they go play the Bears, a team that offensively, the Bears have been getting better. I'll acknowledge that. But defensively, they've been getting torched, especially this past week, by a really strong Dallas team. They put up almost 50 points on them. So this is another, Dallas is good, but they don't have quite the receivers that this Dolphins team has. So I think 2 of them could put up big numbers against the Bears, go in and beat the Browns, a team who's kind of struggling until we'll see what happens when Deshaun gets back. There's no guarantee they're going to be good. So they can beat the Browns, go into a Week 11 bye, get healthy, come back, easy game against the Texans, win that game, and then they come into the hardest slate of the season, Niners, Chargers, Bills. So I think the Dolphins can gain some momentum, get healthy over a bye, come back and almost have, a tune-up game against the Texans and go into their strongest slate of the season, still rolling, fresh off a bye, fresh off a big win. I think they're primed to make a pretty big run this season, Nick. So it looks good for the Dolphins and Tua, and I'm excited to watch them for the rest of the season.